Hello, and let's continue our discussion on functions in Python. And ChatGPT will help us to better understand what's going on and give us some directions how to learn them. Okay, so in the previous video, we discussed two first topics, and now we will discuss three next topics. If you are okay, go to the next videos or watch the previous video. Those three topics, they are related, so I decided to discuss them at once. And sometimes it's a good idea to start new conversations with ChatGPT. So I opened a new chat where I brought only three topics, and I asked to act as a teacher and explain in the simplest possible way. Considering that my channel is created for absolute beginners in Python, so it's a very important precision to give to ChatGPT, because sometimes the explanation can become very technical, and transforming or adding this information into your prompt, into your question, will help to simplify the answer. So we will discuss what is the difference between parameters and arguments. If you remember, there was an imprecision that ChatGPT brought to us. So we will clarify this. And how do you call a Python function? What is the syntax for doing so? And what we are using for return statements, what are the returns. So let's dive into this subject. As always, I will not read everything. You can read the text is very well written. I will only comment on some subjects. I will scroll very slowly. So if you need, you can stop and read the text. But as you can see, there is already a summary. So ChatGPT is very good to summarize things for us. So there is a little bit more detailed information, but the summary, something that we need to remember, it's written here. So to summarize, parameters are the placeholders that we define in the function. And arguments are the actual values that we pass in when we call the function. The first example that we have here, it says that we have a function with only one. Yeah, interesting argument. Yes, it's an argument, because this is a call for a function. It's not a definition, so it's a call, and what we are giving here is an argument. It's very well explained here. And here we have a definition for our function, the function called add numbers. And we have a very detailed explanation. So we use here parameters. So in the definition, we use parameters, and when we call the function, we use arguments. So this is the most important things to remember. And then when we call the function, we can assign the result to a variable. So somewhere in your code, you will call the function. Why we need a return value? Because we will use to assign it. Do you remember when we introduced the variables? This is a variable. This is name of the variable. And this is some kind of expression, or in this case, it's a function. So what Python will do, it will come here. It will find add numbers, and previously, Python will know that previously you created a function called add numbers. So when in the program, Python will come here, find this name, it will go to find the function and run the code inside it. And when it will finish to run all the lines inside the function, it will remember here as a number, as a sum, and it will bring it here as a result. So our result will be assigned with the value of sum here. So basically, later we can print a result, and the value will be 8. So what you need to do now, you need to go to your Jupyter Notebook, or if you are practicing somewhere else, you can bring this function into your IDE or Jupyter Notebook and create a function and call the function and see what it will give you. You can also change numbers that we are arguments that you are giving into when you are calling your function, and see how it will change the result. So try to practice using your Jupyter Notebooks. I think it's the most clear way of practicing, especially for those who are starting now their journey into programming. Yes, so we had 2 examples here, but let's say I want more and more explanation, more details, and in a way that even more easier for me to understand. So yes, I will ask, give me more descriptive examples and use cases of the return function in Python. And please keep it very simple as explanation to a kid. Please, if you're beginning your journey, use this, ask for a simpler explanation, and you will have a lot of examples. And here, so what you can do, stop the video, go to ChatGPT and ask, give me some examples to practice, to better understand return in function in Python. You can play with the wording, you can change your question, but obtain as many examples as you need till you will understand how function works. Keep it simple, ask to keep it simple. And here we have more examples, and one of the examples is exactly or very similar with what we have done during our first assignment. So it's the function, so you can see how you can describe, how you can create a function to find the largest number. So it's very simple, you can see. Basically, when you will call, you want your result, so you will give 2 numbers, and you will know what's the number, what is the largest number. For sure, you can add your formatted string here to give some result more informative for your user. Let's say the largest number is, or from these 2 numbers, the largest is, and you can continue like this. So you can improve. This is a basic version of the problem of how you would find the largest number. And do not forget, or if you haven't seen other previous video, for this you can simplify this using max. So you can just use max function and give it 2 numbers. Yes, so it would replace find largest. It's basically, this is a custom version of max functions that already is a built-in function in Python. So you need to be flexible, and if you don't know that something already exists in Python, you can create your own custom functions. We have other examples, calculate sum. Do not forget that you can stop my video and read what was explained. For now, it's not a very important. It's not what I want to bring to your attention. Here is something that I want to discuss. So sometimes ChatGPT can bring you some examples that you, with some concepts that are new for you, that we haven't discussed yet. And there is why I like Python. Normally, you can understand what's going on, even if you didn't study this yet. So basically, you can see that if you read this in English, a result is equal, calculate sum from this sequence of numbers. So what is the sequence of numbers? We will discover a little bit later, but it's something that you can understand. Basically, you provide sequence of numbers, and then you want to calculate a sum. So this is custom function that was created here, basically telling add all the numbers from our sequence of numbers. We will discuss in details this later, but for now it's reasonably understandable. And another tip, let's say you want to understand this right now, copy this function and ask ChatGPT to explain each line what's going on here. So why you should be using ChatGPT? Because you can create your unique learning experience. So if it's interesting for you, you go deeper, you discover more details if you have time, so you can choose your way of studying, of learning. But for now, we will continue with tips for the second part of videos explaining how to learn functions. And do you remember that when we were working on our assignment, we had a special case when, let's say, user provides us 2 equal numbers. So I questioned what's going on. So your function is not returning, is not highlighting this fact that user can give us 2 equal numbers. We will let it pass silently. What we can do. So, and ChatGPT recognizes that there is a little bit of issue with this approach. And here is a discussion, an alternative solution for this situation. I know that there are other issues here, logical issues, but once again, it depends on the goal, how you are planning to use this function. Maybe you don't need to inform this. Well, if 2 numbers are equal, you give any of these numbers and it will work. So you will continue. You are sure that you are taking the max value, let's say. So sometimes it's not very important. And here is another tip for you to learn more and more about the way how ChatGPT gives us information, or how you can improve the way of learning. So you got your explanation here, and you ask ChatGPT to criticize its own solution. And you will be able to find some inspiration, and you can see that now it's much more cleaner solution. So it's very curious why this solution was not offered at the first place. And we will discuss how ChatGPT works internally to understand why this kind of things happens. But you had an opportunity to see several approaches. So it's very deep. So it's very interesting learning process. So you are exposed to different solutions of the same problem, of different approaches. And more explanation here. And let's say I'm okay. And I think that we spend enough time discussing about arguments and parameters, but I want to be sure that I will remember the main topics. So once again, ChatGPT is excellent to summarize topics. So you can ask to summarize everything that was discussed in this part. So that's why I created a new discussion. And now you can take this summary to your Jupyter Notebook and add some examples. You can think about some other functions, or try something, and this could become your toolbox. So for the future, to review faster the new concepts, you will be using this notebook, and for the review of your knowledge, it's a very interesting approach. So that's it. That's it for these 3 questions that we plan to discuss during this video, in this video, and see you in the next video to discuss other topics related to functions. Thank you for your attention, and see you.